For example, algebraic equation or differential equations.
Oh.
There are various forms of partial differential equations. And here the non-local equation necessarily take a form of, they are not just integral equations, they are not differential equations. They are essentially forms of integral differential equations.
Oh.
Integral differential equations form the text. And the time domain and space domain, both
Oh.
non-locality
Oh.
occurs.
Oh. Yes. Yes.
Non-locality
Simultaneity in time and space.
space. So what models it will take, and then I explained that models can and how this can be optimized. That was why
Wow. Back in 71.
back in 71. This my thesis is there, PhD thesis
Fabulous.
is there on this and particular matter, and they all papers were published on that kind because not many people understood.
Yeah. That time it was too far. You were far ahead of your time, I think.
But that मला म्हणजे चांगलं वाटतं की that time coming from engineering domain, this phenomenon attracted me compared to anything else. And the models were correct. I think then what forms do
So this one Delhi IIT?
Delhi IIT.
Wow.
त्याच्यामध्ये. My thesis is so mathematical because it was full of mathematical equations.
Oh.
Okay, so then I wrote a synopsis of that, explaining what are the different mathematical formulations or what are the systems which take this non-local, and all interesting phenomena in the universe are non-local. Interesting means they are worth ready to heat transfer shell, anything, nuclear phenomena shell, किंवा ऑप्टिकल मध्ये काही इफेक्ट्स असतील.
For matter gravity also.
Huh?
Gravity also.
Gravity also.
Biggest problem non-local.
But it's all most interesting phenomena are non-local.
Non-local.
Which give some special effects, special curiosity about the whole thing. So I give a series of, including biology, in all different domains.
So, but have you been in a position to factor in understanding this phenomenon of non-locality from whatever you've studied, your understanding of the scriptures and Vedas and all? Have you found some correlation or some answers, at least partially, to this phenomenon, or which can be scientific? I mean, which beg for scientific explanation, like non-locality. But perhaps we may just remain in the domain of hypotheses. We will never get to know the real definitive answer to it. But in your understanding of the scriptural and Vedas and Upanishads?
At that time when I was investigating, at that time I was not studying our scriptural texts.
Okay.
At that time my largely interest was how to model them.
Oh.
The non-local phenomena exist, and what do you call as non-locality, and how do you model them? And if once you are able to model them, then you can play with them. No?
Yes.
This kind of thing. So I really attempted to do that, and one thing which came before me was that it is a form of not algebraic equations and not certainly purely differential equations, which may model most of the phenomena, but they necessarily have integration, holistic effect in them.
Fantastic.
An integral part. So holism or holistic phenomena is a necessary quality of a non-local phenomenon.
Oh,
yes.
Fantastic, sir.
So
brilliant.
There are holism holistic view.
Integrative
view.
So, like, then perhaps what Schrodinger's equation was, when he tried to mention about even mass being expressed in the form of a wave. So, what was your understanding of Schrodinger's equation when you were doing this study? Because one of the theories is that Schrodinger's equation talks of, it gives you, if I know the initial eigenstate of a particular complex or of a system, with the passage of time, I'll get to know what the situation is going to be predicted with accuracy. But there again the measurement issue comes. So there's something more primary to that. And in fact, Dr. Penrose was mentioning in one of the interviews that even if I can use Schrodinger's equation to know the eigenstate of a system in by what laws we are following, it is unable to predict what kind of measurement will be done. And so the decision about what is the measuring apparatus and parameters, that is unknown. So how can you ever that doubts the validity of even Schrodinger equation. So I mean, it is beyond my scope of understanding as well. But people like you, sir, you
No, I
are.
think we should. No, I think this investigation is, I feel, a major milestone in human explorations of reality,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yes, absolutely.
So far, we did not think in that direction. This occurred in the beginning of the century, and it is one of the most active explorations today. And this has led to some people kind of thing. They are talking about what do you call this, the divine phenomena, where, as Einstein himself posited, that science and spirituality will converge
Yes.
together, This we see this happening.
Yes.
We cannot both understand it without understanding both. Will not be understand the whole phenomena itself. So, which is a very big step, I think.
Yes. But it's very incredible to know, sir, that your understanding and study and research in the field for your PhD back in 71 in a premier institute like Delhi IIT was pertaining to non-locality, which is unbelievable.
This led me to completely go from engineering to mathematics.
Ah,
Because to understand mathematical models, like for example, Schrodinger equation.
yeah.
For example, you say non-local phenomena.
Yes.
Effect. So that was it was a big thing for me to get into mathematics. And at one time I ended with taking classes of people who were doing PhD in mathematics
Oh, wow.
to take their classes, pre-PhD classes and all
Wow.
that kind of thing. So
That shift of
that shift occurred in me.
occurred.
So I became a mathematician. And so that way the models helped me. I do feel now that it is much deeper issue.
Yes. So perhaps I think after you were exposed to or you got introduced to the hermeneutic or the what we call as a Vedic and Upanishadic literatures and your familiarity with them.
I think the major shift in my thinking occurred when I met, like you say, the great guru, like Guru Sakre Maharaj. And I made him in the context of really digitizing Dhaneshwari.
Oh.
So here, Sakre Maharaj made one statement that that's okay, you will digitize, I have no doubt that we'll digitize, and we're working on some creation new workstations, new technologies of workstations, which are now very popular, multimedia workstations and all that kind of thing. At that time, but he had one thing, he said that mere digitization, in different format, will not give you true knowledge.
Yes.
Will not give you true knowledge. So you must read Bhagavad Gita. Either you read Dhaneshwari, and I will come, because this investigation, I will come here. If you are not able to come to Alandi, I will come to your home here, my home here, and explain to you. Because that understanding is primary
for doing this digitalization process.
Suppose you only understand anything, but you don't understand yourself what it is, what Gnaneshwar or what Krishna wants to say on this, then this knowledge will be not very useful in that sense. So it's like
it might just end up being a translation. We want a transliteration, which means that understanding the gist of it.
That kind of application, perhaps. That's what exactly words he used.
Amazing.
So first.
Amazing.
So that was, Maharaj gave me a different perspective.
But in light of having tried to understand this from that perspective, how do you weigh this approach that you were so instrumental in devising about trying to study non-locality and mathematics? And I would say you were into the thick of the entire mathematics domain, to do understand and to teach mathematics, PhD mathematics to the pre-PhD students. So you were really dived deep into mathematics. And perhaps your understanding of this from the perspective of your deep knowledge in mathematics. So how could you perhaps
one thing which really surprised me at that time, that the models of non-locality lead us to solutions which are not definite.
Ah,
One is they are holistic,
yes.
and the solutions start at some time with branching off.
Ah,
I mean, it can take this path or this path.
oh.
And so several solutions exist
Simultaneously.
simultaneously.
Oh,
So that surprised me as a mathematician, as an engineer. That, and they, one can actually see the solutions start splitting. In the sense that there are many solutions, out of which solutions take many forms, in which the solutions actually can get this direction or the other direction simultaneously, both ways.
yeah.
So like what you observe now in quantum mechanics.
Yes. So quantum superposition
Uh,
that we talk of.
yes, yes, yes. I did not understand those deep implications of this because quantum ideas had not evolved at that time.
Yes. As they are today.
Yeah,
But that is perhaps where that quantum physics veers into spirituality, and spirituality veers into quantum physics, I think. So, that is where.
No, where the most important, the spiritual aspect is that it is your consciousness
Yes.
which becomes the primary, the way you
Observer.
want to look at it.
Yeah. The observer becomes
The
primary.
observer becomes something, which was not so far until then was.
Or probably the
admitted.
observer determines what the reality, or the observer decides the measurement, or the observer
Consciousness of the observer determines that.
measurement.
So this
Amazing.
was what I think
Absolutely
I learned
amazing.
from that,
Amazing.
which we are seeing
Amazing
today. And it has a mathematical form. That solution branches off.
Branches out.
itself.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Correct?